G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. What's north, east, west and south? News. And the big news for those of you who are familiar with my channel is that this is the site which awaited me. I looked and I thought, oi, where's me weather vane? Where's me anemometer? What's happened to them? Where have they gone? So I looked around, and down there on the ground, what I found was these pieces. The weather vane itself seems to be okay. The anemometer has had one of these little flanges broken off, which has allowed an anemometer on its arm to break free. Here's the missing flange, and the cup has been broken in twain and it's wriggling in the breeze. So initially I thought perhaps the white-winged choughs might have been chasing a spider, perhaps hiding in the cup of the anemometer. But this all looks much more like sort of impact damage consistent with something heavy landing here on one arm. Hard enough to crack that barrel and hard enough to break off the three tangs which locate the barrel onto the top of your abbreviated compass rose. So something has apparently suddenly and spontaneously struck this thing from above, and I'm guessing that something came out of the wattle tree, with the tree up there, top of the weather vane over there, with the sugar glider's glide angle, which is approximately horrible, something like 45 degrees. Certainly that's anywhere up there from the canopy of the trees. So I never thought I'd see the day when I had to declare that a sugar glider is capable of inflicting infrastructure damage, but this more or less is the only explanation that I can come up with judicious use of Occam's razor. I don't believe an ordinary possum would make a jump like that, but I reckon a sugar glider might, and koalas don't. And here I'm going to go right out on a limb, and I'm going to say that there's a lot of people who reckon that there's drop bears in Australia. What's the chances that somebody's had a sugar glider land on their head in the moonlight and they've felt something with sharp claws that was furry digging into their scalp, and they've shit themselves and run away, and thus given birth to the story of the legendary mythological drop bear that's actually a sugar glider looking for a tree to land on. So the next order of business is to see what we can do with this. So this looks like being a good mix, I hope. There's pretty much no doubt that these two parts will fit together, and the procedure is, without breaking any of the edges, you prepare the surfaces to be glued, and only the surfaces to be glued, with this preparatory marker. And then, having already ascertained that there is going to be a flow of adhesive, just gradually cover up the one surface cover up the other surface. Make those two in togetherness. And then of course it's going to be the same with these. Surface prep. And here we have one tiny little missing chip. Very carefully prep. Whoop, too much. That complicates things a bit. So we fix that bit, and after a bit of prep, we'll see if we can have a go at getting these two to go together as well. That's right, drop away, feel free. There we go. One repaired anemometer cup. What do you think about that, Charlie? Hey, did you think you were going to get the blame for breaking that, did you? I'm going to blame you. What would you want to do with an anemometer in the dark? So this has a, don't know whether you can see it, little crack there, which I will try to fill with glue, but it also basically just needs some glue on there to get this back in position. So that surface is to be glued. I want it to go down that crack, so I'll try and squeeze the prep down the crack. Along there, and along there, and along there. Put you where you can't drop away. Drop glue down to penetrate into that crack. Just gently cover that surface. Not quite right. So we'll grab this. Put it in there for a trial fit, and I think we're going to glue that. And we'll do that in 2 stages. Looks like that's about right. Like so. And we'll put another little bit of a dollop down here as well, where there's another opening crack. So that's all pretty good, actually. static balance, mass balance. Doesn't seem too bad. And there wasn't much wrong with the weather vane. So that rotates, that rotates. Not quite possibly as freely as it once used to, but it works, more or less, kind of, sort of. Okay, they're fixed. Now we have to fix this thing. What I propose to do is to remake this joint using Araldite 5-minute epoxy with a couple of toothpicks as splints to make up for the 3 broken tangs. However, it turns out that the last tang has broken off, so I'll have to glue it on first. And having done that, I don't think the toothpicks are quite such a good idea after all. Unless, of course, I can get it to fit, which I can. What do you know? It's going to work. So we mix up some Araldite, probably a bit too much, but that's how it goes. Okay, so it's gone white and now it's gone clear again, so it's about ready to use. Great big gob of it down in there. And stick those couple of toothpicks down into the Araldite, and we ladle some glue into there, and then fit the whole thing on. And look at that. It's in place, it's aligned, and all I have to do is sort of sit here with my hand on it, maintaining pressure and force for a couple of minutes until the glue gets tacky-ish. Because, as with a lot of things involving epoxy, timing is critical. And I think I may have come back at just exactly the right cusp. May not be perfectly vertical, but it's something fairly close. And within the limits of the surrounding architecture, I don't think that's too bad, all things considered. And well, yeah, it did waste a little bit of Araldite, but at least I got the job done. The important bits of it anyway. So there we go. Return to service. All I need to do now is put a new solar light on top of it. North, east, west, and south. News is the only way you can pronounce the word. And the news is that until the next sudden, spontaneous, devastating vertical envelopment of the weather vane by either an actual drop bear or a sugar glider masquerading as such, I think it's fixed. It's back in commission. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Hillbilly fix him uppery. Ciao.